Hey guys, today I want to talk about an article that was in the March 9th of the HuffingtonPost.com, written by Sam Stein. Bernie Sanders has a plan to win back Trump voters. It's really interesting to see what Bernie is doing. And this article goes into, he's been sort of campaigning, I guess you'd call it, and he's going to Trump areas, traditionally very red states, and trying to win them back. And he goes into, and I'll read it, what Sanders is saying is how the Democratic Party has failed for the last 10 to 20 years. Clearly they have, otherwise they wouldn't keep losing. And this is something we've been talking a lot about on this show. And if you're just joining us, you saw me on Aggressive Progressives of the Young Turks, welcome. And I'm sure I know they're talking a lot about this over there. And Jimmy Dore talks a lot about this. So what Bernie is talking about is, and this is where the Democratic Party has just had abject failure. The Democratic Party should be the party of the working class people. And when you have no, as Chris Hedges points out, when you have no strong Democratic Party, when liberal elites, the liberal institutions have been like sold out and they're just greedy rich people, then you have no one to stand up to a right-wing agenda and like Trump and the Republican Party. And that's why working class people will then line up behind a demagogue. That's what's happening. So what Sanders is proposing, and whether he runs for president or not, is really interesting. So here's a quote from him. So the truth is, and I think everyone who objectively assesses the situation has to appreciate that the model the Democrats have followed for the last 10 to 20 years has been an ultimate failure, Sanders said with the Huffington Post. I don't know, Bernie. It seems like it's working out. That's just the objective evidence. We're taking on a right-wing extremist party whose agenda is opposed time after time on issue after issue by the vast majority of the American people, yet we have lost the White House, the U.S. House, the Senate, and almost two-thirds of the governor's chairs, and close to 900 legislative seats across the country. How can anyone not conclude that the Democratic agenda and approach has been a complete failure? Yeah, he's absolutely right. All the Democratic Party does is they just say platitudes. They don't actually do it. There's an actual policy. Hillary started coming to the left with progressive issues because Bernie was gaining traction. That's what happened. And the party had to kind of like, I guess people want progressive stuff all of us. I thought they just wanted corporate bullshit and, bumper stickers. And so what he's saying is he's going to interesting places. So because he's talking about raising the minimum wage, as he talked about in his campaign, but he's still talking about it because I think Bernie is sort of banking on the fact that Trump's policies are going to implode, which they are. I just don't see how they're going to work, because when you get into a trade war with Mexico and China, how is that? And it's also short-sighted. It's like remember when Bush just sent everybody a check for $300? It was like, hey, I'm fixing the economy. It was just so insulting. Just tax breaks for the rich, but hey, working guy, here's an extra $300. Oh, thanks. And I think he's capitalizing on the fact that as the Republicans are still sort of fighting on reforming Obamacare, if they completely get rid of Obamacare and put in some just awful system, a lot of Trump supporters are benefiting from Obamacare. And that's where they have an opportunity here. So Sanders says here's one of the reasons why Trump was successful is that Trump has effectively turned one set of voters, working class whites, against another, immigrants and refugees, to the point of real culprits. The real culprits, bottom line driven CEOs, skate by without reprimand or punishment. That's what demagogues have always done, he says of Trump. You pick on the weak and the powerless and you turn a majority against them, and you deflect attention from the real causes of the problems that we face. It's such a great point. It's what they've done. And so Sanders is, he's I think this is smart of what he's doing. It's really smart. And he's been going to like the poorest counties in America, McDowell County, West Virginia, which Trump carried by a ratio of 3-1. And he taped a show with MSNBC's Chris Hayes, who's not that great. But I think Bernie is onto something here, and I'll put the link to this article below, and you can read onto it. It's and I like that's, you know, Bernie's an independent, but he's caucused for the Democrats for a long time. And I don't know if Bernie's the solution for 2020, because him and Elizabeth Warren and Joe Biden are all in their mid to late 70s. But what he's saying is effective and it's good. And this is what we need the Democratic Party to do, is actually wake up. And I'm glad that he's out there at least trying to get this message out and to connect with all of the, you know, working class parts of America that have completely rejected the Democratic Party. And I can't say I blame them, because the Democratic Party has offered them very little other than just platitudes and the fact that even this you know, this journalist has got some condescending stuff. Well, some people in the Democratic Party find Bernie sort of condescending. Oh God, I'm just so sick. He's talking the truth, man. He's talking about actual progressive values that can make this country better. And when people just like, oh, dismiss it, it's so insulting, because they always dismiss it. And then I always go, so what should we be doing? Is the current system working? And I always get sort of like silence from people that say that. The current system sucks. It's not working, and it's only getting worse with a right-wing lunatic like Trump in the White House, and then an ineffective Democratic Party. So it's an interesting article, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. What you think maybe the Democrats can do, if nothing at all. I don't know. Maybe it's just time to go complete third party because they're beyond saving. I don't know. Love to know what you think. My tour dates and stuff are below, and my Patreon is below. Please join that and like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.